Chris Palma here, radio host of Live with CDP Sports Talk, weeknights at 8 p.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM in Georgia. I'm here live tonight at the KeyBank Center for the home opener for the Buffalo Bandits taking on the San Diego Seals at 7:30 here at the KeyBank Center. And I have a special guest with me tonight, is the color analyst now on 1520 The Score in Buffalo, Steve Bermel, along with play-by-play announcer John Gerkler. Steve, just thoughts on taking over for Randy this year?
Oh, just excited. I was always able to fill in for Randy when he had obligations with St. Bonaventure. And unfortunately, his schedule is just a little bit too tight. So taking over to do it, quote-unquote, full-time, it's a great privilege. I can't wait for the season.
What were your thoughts on last week's game against the Albany Firewolves? 17-13 loss to Albany.
Yeah, it felt like you could tell that Albany had a game under their belts, right? Buffalo had the bye week 1, so it was a little tougher for them to kind of get rolling, and the Firewolves having that game under their belt. Also, Buffalo got into some penalty trouble early, so it was hard for them to establish rhythm. Even when they were given a power play in the first quarter, they right away gave it back. They took a penalty, and then ultimately, Albany, full credit to them, they stopped every run the Bandits tried to make. You know, Buffalo down 3 or 4 goals, they'd score 1 or 2, and Albany would gain possession and find a way to score. And we know lacrosse is a game of runs, and Buffalo having their runs held to 2 goals really allowed Albany to come out with a win last week.
Yeah, Albany the last 2 games has beaten Buffalo last year in the home opener, and this year they seem to match up well with the Bandits. Steve, what are your thoughts on tonight's opponents, the San Diego Seals, who are coming off an opening victory as well?
Yeah, we know Buffalo finished 14-4 last year. So did San Diego. And with the unified standings, it feels like this game means a lot more because, you know, last year San Diego in the West Division, Buffalo in the East Division, there wasn't really much concern or vying for a playoff spot. But a game like this, Buffalo doesn't want to fall down to 0-2 and have a tiebreaker going to San Diego. So it's a big game for Buffalo. Emotions are going to be running high for sure for the Bandits with the banner going up tonight. And they should be ready to roll after having a game under their belt last week. But San Diego's a great team. Offensively, Austin Stotts is outstanding. Dane Doby and Curtis Dixon, we know that they've played together a long time, so should be a heck of a game between these 2 teams tonight.
What are your thoughts on the National Lacrosse League getting rid of the divisions and going to 1-15 or a 1-8 format in the playoffs?
I think that's exciting because you have games meaning a lot more, right? So when you have a team that falls to 0-3, you know, they're chasing every other team in the league, not just the 4 or 5 teams in front of them in their division. And like I said, a game like this means a heck of a lot more in a game that would have been, you know, the interdivisional game and not really mean as much in the standings. This is a huge game tonight because, you know, the tiebreakers matter, especially in the playoff standings. So I like playing every team once and seeing every team. And this is San Diego's first trip to Buffalo, so that's exciting as well.
What are you looking forward in tonight's game with this banner raising ceremony, the 5th in Buffalo Bandits history?
It's exciting because it feels like an exclamation point to the end of the celebration, right? They raised the cup here last June. They had the parade, and now this banner kind of puts an exclamation point on the championship celebration, and then it's time to put on the hard hat and defend the title and try to chase down another one. So it'll be exciting and a lot of energy, but ultimately Buffalo has to come out with a win tonight if they want to, you know, have a good position to repeat. It starts with winning games like tonight's.
We know about the core of this team. Who are some players on this Bandit team that could make an impact on this team this year?
I think that he's getting a lot more recognition, but Ian McKay, his skill in transition and his speed to get the ball up the floor, to go switch from D to O. When the Bandits have had injuries on the left side, he's filled in offensively for them. And then Cam Wires, you know, the Bandits lose Bryce Sweeting and Adam Bomberry to injuries, and Cam Wires, a big kid. He's got to learn the box game a little bit. He was a great player at Loyola, just needs a little bit more experience playing the box game, but I think that he's kind of an X factor with his size on defense for the Bandits.
And finally, what are your thoughts on working beside legendary Bandits play-by-play announcer John Gerkler?
I can't say enough about John. You know, I was a sports writer for about 10 years before I started working alongside John in broadcasting, and I learned more from John working with him one day than I had the 10 years prior when it comes to sports writing and just how to broadcast a game and how to present myself and how to work in this capacity. So he's forgotten more than I'll ever know, and I'm very privileged to work alongside him.
Where can my audience follow you on social media, and what time do you and John go live on 1520 The Bet tonight?
Show will start at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll have a half-hour pregame show leading up to the banner-raising ceremony. And you can find me on Twitter at Steve Bermel. That's S-T-E-V-E. And my last name is Bermel, B-E-R-M-E-L. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Bermel.
Steve, well, I want to say thank you so much and wish you and John the best of luck this season and the Buffalo Bandits.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the time.